This man managed to break a metal spoon in half with his bare hands just because it was difficult to use. Such a shocking feat, yet the people around him remained indifferent. That's because, in Kaibaru's presence, it wasn't impressive at all. Kaibaru began his own performance. As Kaibaru moved the stiff spoon, it became incredibly flexible. In the next second, the metal spoon started to bend. Just then, the prison guard suddenly appeared, interrupting the conversation between Baki and Kaibaru. In the strictest prison, all prisoners are required to line up every morning for a roll call, and Baki, who had just been imprisoned, was no exception. With a baton in hand, the guard reminded them that prisoners had no right to speak, nor were they allowed to converse privately. But while the guard spoke, Baki was surprised to see Kaibaru yawning and slowly walk up to the guard's side. Then, in front of all the prisoners, Baki saw Kaibaru take the guard's cigarette and light one for himself. Kaibaru's action shocked everyone, but Taisun was in for worse. He simply answered Kaibaru's question about what he had for breakfast, and for that, the guard beat him up. It was as if the guard didn't even notice Kaibaru. Soon, it was time for lunch, and Kaibaru was the only one who got to enjoy a delicious omelet rice. When he got bored, he would go and chat with the guard. One day, Kaibaru approached the guard, took the guard's handgun, and asked if he had bought a new one. Just then, a fly landed on the guard's head. Kaibaru casually remarked that no flies were allowed during meals. The guard was utterly startled. However, Kaibaru was just playing with the guard, as this was his privilege. But some people, to earn such privileges, would challenge Kaibaru. A muscular sumo wrestler, who had once been a freestyle fighter and won the world championship after just a few matches, was in prison for causing someone's death due to street violence. The sumo wrestler began to show off, but just as he did, Kaibaru simply smiled, took a spoon, and started his own performance. The metal spoon in Kaibaru's hand became as flexible as noodles. In the next second, it began to bend. This stunned everyone around them. The sumo wrestler, feeling humiliated, angrily overturned the table, spilling food all over Kaibaru. The guard rushed to stop him, but Kaibaru calmly declared that he had his own way of dealing with those who interrupted his meals. He grabbed the guard's gun, and in front of the astonished crowd, he loaded the gun and handed it to the sumo wrestler. Kaibaru asked the sumo wrestler to shoot him in the head. Enraged, the sumo wrestler pulled the trigger, but just as he did, Kaibaru swiftly attacked, kicking him in the groin. The sumo wrestler let out a painful scream. Kaibaru laughed confidently, saying that his foot was faster than the bullet. The sumo wrestler painfully got up, still unwilling to submit. So, Kaibaru proposed a sumo wrestling duel. He then turned to the guard, telling him to clear the area. Soon, they were on a basketball court, with 3 guards as referees to ensure fairness. The match began. Kaibaru rushed in, grabbed the sumo wrestler's waist, and the sumo wrestler responded by grabbing Kaibaru's belt and lifting him with all his strength. But no matter how hard he tried, Kaibaru remained standing, not moving at all. Seeing his opponent's lack of strength, Kaibaru began his counterattack. He slapped the sumo wrestler's face so hard that it ruptured his eardrum. Then, Kaibaru pulled out a piece of his own hair, twisted it into a thin needle, and inserted it into the sumo wrestler's ear. With a slight twist of his fingers, Kaibaru's hair wrapped around the sumo wrestler's cochlea. Finally, with a hard pull, Kaibaru easily damaged the sumo wrestler's cochlea. The sumo wrestler lost his balance and collapsed to the ground. Struggling to get up, he tried to attack Kaibaru again but lost his balance once more and fell hard. In just a few minutes, Kaibaru won the match. The defeated sumo wrestler had only one fate left, to witness the power of a bullet. After the match, Kaibaru went outside and ran into Baki. Baki had heard of Kaibaru's reputation. Kaibaru wasn't the second most powerful man in the prison, he was the second man who couldn't be locked up. The first was the freest man, Oriba. Kaibaru also aspired to be an uncontainable man. Just then, the guard came to interrupt their conversation, but what he didn't expect